Hi, I'm Ep20 and welcome to The Franchise Show. Now, Australia's franchising sector is primed for growth. That's according to the latest research by Griffith University's Centre for Franchising Excellence. They predict growth in revenue and outlets between now and 2020. So how can you take advantage of this growing sector? Well, stay tuned because you're about to find out. When it comes to running a successful franchise, the best operators are always learning and seeking new opportunities to improve their business skills. But it doesn't have to be all books and lectures. Sometimes the best advice can come from a fellow franchisee.
Well, there's no better resource in franchising than somebody that's achieved all that you want to achieve. Today, I'm meeting up with a successful franchisee to find out what it takes to make it in franchising.
Hi, I'm Adam, the franchise partner for Pizza Capers Armidale.
Adam, you've been in franchising for a while now. What actually motivates you to succeed?
Mainly would be my family and lifestyle.
4 years in, what are some of the things that you've learnt about franchising?
To be across each system, understanding your till system, understanding your stock take system, and understanding it and then utilising it to its full potential.
What is it about franchising that sets you up for success?
The systems behind it, that we are evolving and growing and developing new products.
How do you go about managing your team and those processes to align with what your needs are?
Yeah, so that fundamentally comes back to training. Training from my level, but also training from above, where franchise have support, where they will bring in business operators to help you with that.
So Friday night, busy night for pizza. How do you go about managing Friday night as opposed to other nights of the week?
Friday night is a crucial night for a pizza shop. What I like to do is have my key makers on make and staying on that spot, looking at having the people that are comfortable talking to people, engaging in customers, being at the front, selling the product, talking to the customers. The poor delivery driver, he seems to get missed out, but he's a key part of this business. Knowing when his deliveries are going, knowing where his deliveries are going, so that we're efficient and that we are getting pizzas to the customer in a timely manner.
So being part of a franchise model, what do you see as the key benefits that are available to you?
The key benefits are the fact that there is someone in the background thinking about these systems. They're tried, they're tested, they are here for us to use, and we don't have to develop them. We don't have to reinvent the wheel. These ideas are already out there for us.
How would you say that franchising has influenced your lifestyle?
I think it's influenced my lifestyle in a career path and an opportunity to work with CEOs, work with marketing managers. So for me, it's definitely a stepping stone to a further career.
The quick service restaurant arena is quite vibrant and competitive. What do you do to actually keep ahead of the market and make sure that you're doing everything you can to drive locally your sales?
The key factor that I see in a business like Pizza Capers or Gloria Jean's is the fact that we can have a local spin on our product and our service.
So how are you going about that?
A number of ways. As small things to walking a pizza to someone's car. It takes no effort and the customer would be amazed by that.
Well, you're playing in a very competitive market. What do you see as your competitive advantage to be able to keep driving your sales?
Brad, the fact that we are in a rural setting, the ability that I can know locals and locals can know me. This is a massive strategy and an advantage that we have here. We can talk to a customer in the shop and then we can see them down the street 5 days later and still have that rapport. That is key to any small business and any franchise.
And so is there anything that you've got in place to actually continue to drive that community involvement?
Yeah, there is. We help with a lot of local sporting events, a lot of engage with the university and give back to the students that are in town. The students are a major factor in a community like Armidale. If we can help develop them in ways of employment, in ways of giving them discounts, in ways of sponsoring events, this really helps drive that local feel to a business.
Adam, with your experience in franchising, what advice would you give others that are looking into getting into that industry?
Brad, I would look at what products you believe in and what brands you believe in. If you believe in that brand and that product, then it will work for you.
Thanks so much, Adam. That's some really great advice for people looking to get into franchising.
The Franchise Show will be back in July on Channel 7 with more great franchise stories, business tips and ideas to inspire you. When you're buying a franchise, you're not just making a business decision, you're making a long-term commitment. And up next, we find out what it takes to make the distance as a franchisee. Don't go anywhere. You're watching The Franchise Show. A typical franchise agreement will span anywhere from 5 to 10 years. But many people own a franchise for much longer than that. Now, once you've made the decision to become a self-employed business owner, it's really important that you stay motivated and committed to making your franchise a success. Now, this is definitely easier said than done. So we caught up with business advisor Bruce Sullivan for his advice on being in it for the long haul.
I think when people first start in a franchise or a business, it's like a new relationship. It's always exciting. It's like the first date. You can't wait to see each other again. There's the next day. There's that anticipation. And that's true for business and relationships. So I think people really need to be mindful that this is a 5-10 year commitment minimum. You may fall in love forever, but you need to be prepared to be in this for the long haul. For most people, it's a big decision because they have left a job or they've left a business. And I think the challenge coming into business is that some people are more preoccupied getting away from their current reality. I just want to stop this job. I want to not work for this boss anymore. I don't want to work for myself. And I think we have to be really careful that if we're thinking long term, that we're not just running away from something. Look, I think to be in business for the long haul, it's always easier in a franchise. The benefit of a franchise is that you are able to access information, ideas, business expertise, marketing, research and development about what the market is doing and how you can adapt to that. And I think when you're on your own, that's not available to you, or you may not even have the budget to be able to do that. So again, if you want to go far, go together. If you just want to go a short distance, go on your own. You can go quicker, but it's nowhere near as sustainable. Once you've started in a business, it's not like a job. It's like a child. You've got this baby. You can't just go, okay, that's enough. I'm over this. You've got to turn up and present every day. So I think that some of the things that I mentioned about being careful who you hang around, making sure that you remember you said yes to this, and don't be afraid to ask for help. I think the thing that most successful long-term business owners have in common is each other. They will learn from each other, and they will not be ever that arrogant or stupid to think that they can do it on their own.
Franchising may seem like an American concept, with so many big brands originating from the States, seemingly popping up all over the world. But did you know that in Australia, 90% of our franchise brands originated right here? And around 1/3 of our Aussie franchise brands have taken their success offshore by entering international markets. With a little bit of research, you'll find that we Aussies tend to back our own brands and shun the big international players. Just try and find your nearest Krispy Kreme or Starbucks and you'll see what I mean.
Franchising gives small business the benefit of big brands, and that's a big plus in terms of likely success. Research shows independent small businesses are 4 times more likely to fail in the first 5 years than a franchisee. And that means banks feel more comfortable lending to franchises. But this head start comes at a cost. Now, the latest franchising report by Griffith University shows you'll need an average of around $300,000 for a retail-based franchise, or just under $60,000 for a non-retail business. And you'll also be expected to pay ongoing royalty fees and possibly other costs like marketing fees. Be sure you know exactly what you're up for, as fees are a leading source of franchise disputes. Now, most importantly, be sure the business has the capacity to generate sufficient income for your needs and the potential to deliver a decent capital gain if you sell up later on. If that's not the case, then you should just be buying yourself a job rather than growing a bankable investment. Next on The Franchise Show, we round up some of our franchise favourites to tell us their top tips for being successful in franchising. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back soon. Motivation, hard work and determination. These are just a few of the attributes we've heard make great franchisees. But what else does it take to be a long-lasting success? Stay with us because you're about to find out.
Hi, I'm Lisa O'Donnell. I'm one of the franchise partners for Gloria Jeans. I own 2 stores with my husband. Our first store is at Helensvale in the Westfield Shopping Centre, and this is our brand new store at Maruka Drive-Thru. So we've decided to go with Gloria Jeans. I guess we really like their coffee. My husband and I are both avid coffee drinkers. Okay, opening up a new store came with a lot of different challenges that I'd never had much experience with. Gloria Jeans head office actually did the design. They found the location, they put it out to tender, and we were really interested. We thought the location was awesome. The reason that we thought this was an ideal location for a drive-through is that it's certainly on the inbound traffic coming all the way from the western suburbs of Brisbane. It gets a traffic count of around about 55,000 cars a day, so we've got a lot of potential and exposure to our transient population who need coffee in the morning to get up and go. So at the moment, I'm getting up at 2:30 in the morning. I'm here by around about 3:30 to open the store at 4 o'clock. My husband comes in with me. He then goes off to his own work at around about 4:30 or 5 o'clock. I usually stay here till probably around about 10 or 11, and then I drive on down to Helensvale and work at that store and just catch up with the girls, make sure that things are going okay. Hello, how are we? No, I'm really well, thank you. What are we up to today? The other thing that's really different is your customer interaction. So you're used to actually interacting with your customers over a counter. You don't get to do that. This time you do it through a window and through a car. So it's really different, but you know what? It's exactly what you've already done in another store. So I really enjoy the drive-through, and probably my favourite position is actually on headset out the window. You still get to interact with your customers, which is one of the best things about having a franchise and having a cafe. There you go, Andy. See you, love. See you. Bye, have a good day. My biggest advice to someone who's looking at getting into a franchise is do your research. I can't tell you how much research we did into purchasing our first franchise. I actually had my mother and my mother-in-law sit outside the 2 potential stores that we were interested in. They sat there for a whole day and counted the number of bodies that walked past each individual store, and that was really what helped us actually make our decision about which was the better store and had the most potential. And then making sure you stay motivated. You'll have your ups and downs. Just remember what the big picture is at the end, and you can work your way through everything if you've got the right support behind you.
Businesses, when they're franchised or not, have got to be nurtured from the start, so they need, you know, that daily attendance, and most franchisees, if they do that, then they give themselves a good opportunity to succeed. But if you're not in it for the right reasons, then yeah, unfortunately, failure can be a part of the landscape.
One of the most important things is culture. In fact, I think it's the single most important thing. If your culture as a franchisee or as a potential franchisee doesn't match with the culture of the franchisor, don't go there. And the way to figure that out is to go and phone or visit numerous other franchisees. There's no point in going with a franchise group unless you've talked to quite a number of franchisees. And not just the ones the franchisor tells you to go and see, it's the others as well. So figure out what their culture is, figure out what the culture of the franchisor is, figure out whether there's any conflict there, and whether that then dovetails in with your philosophy.
Well, in any business, buying a franchise means that you're putting the trust in the franchisor. You're relying on him to basically know everything. Know about the brand, know about marketing, know about getting to customers, about technical aspects, about pricing, about supply. So your franchisor needs to be across every aspect of the business, so you can walk in with your energy and enthusiasm, add his knowledge of the business to your energy and enthusiasm.
One of the challenges that anyone in business faces is having the right team and the right orientation in their business. This is where the guidance of a franchisor and a franchise network can really help. What the franchisees must do is to establish a business that is run properly. And what that means is something that really looks after the customer by having a strict discipline around their unique selling proposition and a very simple and clear set of operations where it's not difficult to serve customers, but it's really rewarding when you do it right.
The thing you need to be the most successful in your chosen franchise is make sure you follow the system, make sure you've done your due diligence, make sure you've done your research, but also hold the franchise accountable. They've got a legacy of information, a history and a wealth of talent that they can tap into. Use it. It's there. It's for you.
There's no shortage of great ideas. What there is a shortage of is people actually doing it. And you've got to have a little bit of faith, some courage, conviction, and belief in your own ability. And you've just got to do it. And sometimes, you know, that's the first step that's just required. And once you get into it and you start rolling with the punches, because there will be punches, you start learning. And then you start realising, OK, I really have a weakness here. I need to get someone to help me. Because that's the second thing I tell you, is surround yourself with people that can help. And don't think that just because it's your idea, you're the only person that can do it. You have to be able to share your idea and bring people along that journey with you.
Up next, we talk to a franchising expert who tells us all about the importance of research to make sure you choose the right franchise to achieve your business goals. You're watching The Franchise Show. Welcome back to The Franchise Show. Now, we've heard it time and time again. The key to being successful in franchising is to do your research. But what exactly does that mean? And where do you start? Well, we caught up with franchise advisor Elizabeth Gillam to find out exactly that.
So in my experience, there's actually 5 areas that you really need to look into when you're researching a franchise opportunity. So the first one is obviously the system and process that the franchisor has put together to make sure that it is actually a system and process, that it is actually documented, that there are actually manuals and that it actually works, you know. You get sold the sizzle from the franchisor, it's the best thing in the world and they can tell you anything, but you need to research and back up what that person has told you. The next thing you really need to look at is all around the profile of the brand. And by that I mean, how do they market the brand? Is the brand well known? Will the brand, has it got enough strength to attract people to your storefront? Because that's one of the main reasons I buy a franchise, because you can bring an established brand into a certain area. So make sure that it truly is an established brand. So the third area that you really have to research solidly is the support that the franchisor will give you once you've entered into an agreement with them. So you need really strong support when you actually establish your business, when those first even 6 weeks, you really need strong support there. But then you need ongoing support in the area of training your staff, new product releases. The fourth area you need to do a lot of research in is the actual product that you're selling. So you've got the process that you're implementing, but you're also selling a product in most cases, you know, and particularly in the food industry, it's the product you're selling. So you have to make sure that firstly, people want to buy that type of product, but secondly, all the ingredients to prepare that product is all stitched up with your franchisor. The last part of your research you want to do is really speak with other franchisees in the system, because what we'll do is confirm the research that you've done to date. So the questions that you have asked your franchisor, and that you have to be sure that the answer that they have given is actual fact. Ask franchisees that have left the system. Because if you speak with them, you'll find out why they left the system. It may have been because they were really happy with the system, they made their money and they've left on to go on to other greener pastures. But it might be that there were faults in the system and that's what drove them to leave. Then you need to do a little bit more research and make sure that the faults of why they left the system have been fixed. And again, you go back to your existing franchisees because they will be able to accurately tell you what the true faults of the system are.
So as a franchisor or a franchisee, it's important to always continue to learn. And if your franchisor isn't offering additional learning opportunities for you, you need to identify what skills are missing in your business. So if it is the case that you came from a finance background and you absolutely understand a balance sheet, wonderful. But if you don't, it's important that your financial literacy is absolutely on par with someone who has had that experience. If you find that your flaws are not communicating or not dealing with employees, expertise because you've never had to manage a team, then by all means go and look at other courses that you can do around that. They don't have to be long university degrees, they can also be short courses, and also using and utilising resources on the Fair Work Ombudsman website or on the Small Business Ombudsman website can also be effective, and getting advice along the way, so making sure that you're supported. So if your franchise doesn't offer support for you to operationally run your business, perhaps look at a membership with someone like the National Retail Association or something else that is more relevant to your particular area of business, but ultimately always ask questions and make sure that you're as informed as you need to be.
While the future looks bright for the thriving franchise sector, there are legislative changes being proposed by the current government that could have significant impacts on the industry. So you need to stay informed, attend industry events, and sign up for news blasts from the National Retail Association, or become a member for even more support. Now, it's going to be important to monitor these issues in the future. But don't forget, when you enter a franchise, it's your business and you are ultimately in control of your own destiny. But if you need help, do seek some independent advice. For the best possible chance of success, use the systems in place. Lean on your franchisor and learn from other franchisees in your network. And finally, be sure to catch up on all the episodes of The Franchise Show for great stories, tips, inspiration and advice. Thanks for joining us this season. We've enjoyed your company on The Franchise Show. I'm Effie Zahos.